Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm reviewing a new film from Netflix, Horse Girl. I have to say right off the bat, when I first saw the preview of this film, I was really confused to what it was going to be about. I thought it was going to be just kind of a quirky, really weird, just weird for the sake of being weird movie. And I think it actually had some really strong messaging in it. And by the end of the film, I really felt like I had experienced something that I did not expect when I started it. So this film follows a young woman named Sarah, played by Alison Brie. And throughout the film, you are following her dealing with the struggles of mental illness and the history of mental illness in her family. And in the beginning of the movie, I didn't really know that that's where it was going to go. I thought it was just going to be about a girl who's maybe having some kind of issues. We don't know what it is. But you see her kind of slowly fade into schizophrenia and not being able to kind of cope with the real world and just having these struggles that I did not expect to be in this film. And all that being said, it is a very surreal moment. You are taken along on this ride with her, and you being thrown into the driver's seat as the audience can get a little confusing at times. I'm not going to lie, because you're dealing with some really strange events that are happening in this woman's mind. And that being said, Alison Brie did a fantastic job playing this character. Someone who is going through a lot, someone who kind of completely changes from the beginning of the film to the end of the film. In the beginning, we're seeing a very reserved person, someone who's very socially awkward. They don't understand how to really navigate normal social situations, and she has her own coping mechanisms to deal with things. And then her kind of spiraling and her falling out of being able to deal with her normal day to day. Just that wide range of emotions through this kind of somber, somewhat happy person to someone who's completely manic and seemingly has lost their mind by the end of the film. So most of the supporting cast of the film also did a pretty solid job, in my opinion. You have Nikki, who's played by Debbie Ryan, another former Netflix star. I do like how Netflix kind of keeps their own people into the fold, because it gives them the ability to grow, maybe get roles that they wouldn't get outside of the platform. And I thought that her performance was pretty solid as someone who's trying to understand what's going on with her friend but not knowing what's happening, and kind of that having that tension, that relationship in there, kind of add an extra element to the story. Then her boyfriend Brian, who's played by Jake Picking, he did a pretty good job too, because he is someone who's kind of sympathetic, who's almost in a way just kind of enabling the way that she's acting, and he's playing into it because he doesn't fully know the extent of it. And I thought the scenes where he is trying to deal with the full reality of what's going on with her were some of the more powerful scenes in the film. This movie does have some really powerful scenes. Beneath the kind of zaniness that's going on screen, you're seeing someone who is really struggling. And I think that general audiences might lose that when they're watching this movie, because it does get unabashingly weird at times. And you're watching it and you're like, this is just crazy. What's going on? Is this really happening? But then when you strip that away and look at the actual messaging and kind of the underlying themes of what the character's dealing with family and mental illness and social relationships and things like that, you get to see that there are some strong messages there. And in particular, there are scenes where she talks about the way that she has coped with having issues in the past, the loss of her mother and the dealings that happened with her grandmother. She really loves this television show. Something she really enjoys. She kind of throws herself into it, watches it over and over again. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people, when you go through a lot of things, you can deal with having a television show that helps you get through things, or having friends that help you get through things. And just having those messages in there with some of the really over-the-top things that maybe a person might not understand if you're not going through these events, I thought it displayed it pretty well. The ending of the film is rather ambiguous. I feel like you can take away multiple things that are happening at the end. And I like the way they handled it. It didn't try to make it cut and dry. It let the audience decide what's happening. And I think that's something the movie benefits from, because at times you have to just roll with it. You have to try and figure out what's going on. It's not spoon-fed to you. And I do like that. Like a lot of symbolism, a lot of things going on with her character and what she thinks she's putting out there for the world. So I do like how they didn't just spoon feed you as an audience that what's happening. And all that being said, for most people, I think it would be pretty confusing. Even me, at times, I'm watching it and I'm trying to analyze and understand all the things that are happening on screen. But I do like that they went there. They took a risk with this movie. It didn't feel like your traditional Netflix film for the most part. I know Netflix has put out some really quality films, especially last year. But a lot of times their movies are pretty cut and paste, pretty simple productions. This definitely took some risks in the narrative and the character development. All that being said, I think I will give Horse Girl a 7 out of 10. It surprised me. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. It definitely is a strange movie, but it does have some pretty powerful messages, some pretty powerful moments. And if you're willing to roll with it and kind of strip away the kind of over-the-top events that happen in the movie. You can get a lot away from it. I think the performances, especially by Alison Brie, were excellent. She definitely is going for it in this movie. It's something that you feel the passion in the role from her. So I think it was something you should check out. If you enjoy a movie like this, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you saw Horse Girl, how did you feel about it? Did you feel like the tone shifts in it, or just the absolute, surrealism of the movie was a little distracting or not too well done? I personally liked it, but I'm interested to see what like a general audience checking this out on Netflix, something that's out there on a huge platform, would feel about it. Leave those comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you next time.